Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Jonathan Montgomery. Thanks for tuning in because we've got a great show for you. At a recent West Bloomfield Township Board meeting, officials announced new leadership on the West Bloomfield Township Cable Commission. Mark Jackson has been appointed to fill the seat previously held by Delvis Nixon, who resigned after moving out of the community. Here's a look at the latest change on the commission.
Deliberation and consideration of the appointment to fill a vacancy of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission for a partial term beginning upon appointment and ending on November 30th, 2026, due to the resignation of Delvis Nixon.
Motion that we select Mark Jackson to fill the opening as just outlined by Clerk Binder for the remaining term of office.
Support.
All right, moved by Treasurer Weingarten and seconded by Clerk Binder. Is there any discussion? Go ahead.
I just want to point out again, because this was another example where we had two outstanding candidates, and while there would have been a tough choice and either one would have been good, my reason in part for selecting, other than obvious qualifications, is that Mr. Jackson, this is the second time that he cared enough to serve the community and step forward. And I think that when somebody cares enough to serve the community and steps forward and says, count me in for something that's volunteer and doesn't pay, I think if they've cared to come back, I am excited to give him the opportunity. And as much as I enjoyed the additional interview, I do feel like I'm comfortable giving Mr. Jackson he really has an impressive resume, a great personality and nature, and I think he will be an asset. And I think that it was a tough decision last time. It's a tough decision this time, but I'm really happy that he came back.
And while the township welcomes a new voice to the Cable Commission, another issue is getting attention from the West Bloomfield officials, this time involving trash collection. Supervisor Warshay says the township plans to put out a request for proposals for new trash hauling services following years of recent residents' complaints about the current provider.
As a trustee, I was always aware of the issues with the trash hauling and resident complaints. Since becoming supervisor, I've become much more keenly aware of those issues. The township is going to issue a request for proposals, and you can be assured that the board will be paying attention to details so that we select a provider that provides the service that residents expect and deserve.
Once again, the township says the goal is to find a trash hauling service that can better meet the needs and expectations of West Bloomfield residents. As officials move forward with the RFP process, residents will be watching to see what changes could be coming to their weekly trash collection. Even though summer may be coming to a close and the new school year is right around the corner, there is still plenty of time for kids to stay active, learn new skills, and have fun. At I-9 Sports Camp, kids ages 3 to 11 are getting a chance to explore sports, work as a team, and build confidence both on and off the field.
West Bloomfield's been a great site so far. So right now we actually have a whole youth program going on for kids sports. It's competitive, but at the same time non-competitive. It's getting the kids developed for when they actually take that next step. It's getting them comfortable in what they do, and we just make it really enjoyable for them here. So it's been awesome. Well, my favorite part is just making an everlasting memory on the kids. I even think it goes as far as the parents. The parents want to see their kids succeed with all this, and not only that, but the parents want to see them develop these skills, and especially when they go out to school or whatever with their friends. I think it's so great to just see those teamwork and those leadership skills. So it's been awesome.
For a while, I've been doing it for 6 years. It's been great. I love the kids. I love making those memories with them. Like when they come back every year, like it is like seeing a different kid, like seeing them grow and actually, develop, get smart, and all that stuff. It's great to see, and you make those relationships. I think that's the best part.
Have you seen the kids just come out of their shells and just really be more social as they get out here with other kids their age?
Yeah, it's a great environment to see kids grow as the session goes on, because the very first time, like, kids are very shy and they don't know how to act within the coaches, even their teammates. But as the session goes on, they're saying each other's names and they're so excited when the kid is coming in. They're really like going there to hug each other. And as a coach, it's just so exciting to see that. The family environment that I-9 is creating here at West Bloomfield is amazing to see.
From learning the fundamentals of the game to building teamwork and confidence, I-9 Sports Camp is giving young athletes an opportunity to grow while having fun. And for these kids, the lessons they're learning on the field can carry with them long after camp is over. West Bloomfield is bringing the school community together for an evening filled with fun, football, and plenty of spirit. The West Bloomfield School District is getting ready for its 15th annual Family Fun Night, featuring activities for the whole family and a special tribute honoring the military members, police officers, and firefighters who serve our community. Here to talk more about this is coordinator of the Family Fun Day, Julie Beatty. Julie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to be here.
Of course, me as well. I'm excited as well to talk about this. So, Family Fun Night is celebrating its 15th year. And what does that mean to you to see this event reach such a significant milestone?
It's honestly, it's mind-blowing, really. When we started this, I started this with Pat Watson, the principal of the high school, Nancy Cooper, and I. This was before I was even on the Board of Education. We just wanted to create that kind of Friday nights lights experience, that community experience for West Bloomfield, the greater West Bloomfield area, and bringing the community together. And for it to last 15 years, just shows how much the community needed this. They lean into it. The school district supports this. It's really heartwarming to see that this vision of ours has taken hold and has lasted so long.
Yeah, I'm a former Laker myself, so just seeing this event and hearing about this is so good to see that it's continuing. It was always a good time just to be with friends and meet people and, get to know everybody right before the school season starts, So it was fun because then you can see them in class and, laugh and joke with people. It's just an amazing time. So saying that it's been, going on for 15 years, let's talk a little bit about the original vision behind Family Fun Night and how have you seen that evolve now that you guys are on your 15th year?
Yeah, so it had numerous pillars in the origination of it. It was a way to bring everybody together. We don't have a centralized downtown in West Bloomfield. We don't have a place, a communal place that everybody can go to. So we really wanted to celebrate our greater West Bloomfield community. We wanted to celebrate going back to school. We wanted to have something to anchor that type of an event. And that's actually how we landed on doing it before a football game. So it's a back to school community event that brings everybody up to the high school. We only have one high school. We should all be celebrating that high school. And we can support the football team and bring the community to our football games. And 15 years ago was actually before our football team program took off to be a state championship, that level football team that it is. So it really brought people into the stands. But another pillar we had was also to recognize the men and women who protect us every day, putting their lives on the line so we can be safe in this community. And that was part of the original vision, was bringing everybody together, celebrating going back to school, bringing people into the football games, and also recognizing these people who are essential to our way of life. And we wanted to be able to recognize them. So that is why not only do we have them as part of the event prior to the football game, but then as the football game is beginning, we do a recognition for them on the field as well.
And that's such a wonderful thing. I think what you touched on is just a little bit of everything, right? You get a little bit of football games, you get a bit of community, all these different type of things. But the one thing that you touched on I want to talk about is that this year's Family Fun Night is saluting U.S. military members, police officers, and firefighters. Why was it so important to make that appreciation such a central part of this year's celebration?
It's actually been part of the celebration from the beginning. So that is one of the core pillars that we decided on as we originated Family Fun Night 15 years ago. We want to make sure that all of our men and women who serve us every day, whether it's in the military, the fire, the police department, that we recognize them. We recognize the sacrifices that they are willing to make sure that we could have a safe community event like Family Fun Night and have something that we're celebrating and having a good time and not having to worry about our safety in that moment. So we wanted to be able to bring them in and recognize them and give that type of celebration that they deserve. And matter of fact, during COVID, we had extended that to the doctors and nurses who were working the front lines to keep us safe during that time as well.
Absolutely, especially with COVID, times like that, it just really shows you the importance of certain positions, certain jobs in the community. Sometimes they go, like you said, they may go unrecognized. We may not notice these things. Julie Beatty is here today with me on the Splash Live talking about West Bloomfield School District's Family Fun Day. So Julie, as you said those things about, recognizing all these people in the community who make this community what it is, how does this event help younger students to recognize the importance and appreciation of those serving their community?
Well, that is one of the purposes, is so they can mirror the adults and the experience that we're creating for them, is that this is an important group of people. Just throwing it back a bit, when the military came back from Vietnam, it was very much a flipped experience for them. Is very negative. We wanted to make sure that moving forward, the next generations understand, whether you agree or disagree with the conflict that might be happening at the moment, that it's the men and women that are putting themselves on those front lines, committing their lives to make sure that ours is a safe and better place, that we want to show that to the next generation, how important it is to recognize the sacrifices that these individuals are making to protect us as a community and as a country.
Absolutely. And I think that's just one of the many things that are going to happen on this Family Fun Night. It's just such an amazing thing that, we introduce them to, the game and everything, and then also, serving as, the community, the people who are serving the community. And also, this event includes a lot of stuff, right? We're serving, we're honoring those, we're watching a football game. But for the younger ones, this event also includes like touch a truck and bounce houses and all these dunk tanks and all these wonderful things. So what activities do you think like families should be looking forward to? And what are some of your favorite things that you look forward to every year?
I personally look forward to the fire trucks, just like most of the kids, especially when they bring the hazmat truck. It's kind of cool. I look forward to seeing the canine officers on site. The students might also enjoy, we are going to have a wide assortment of bounce houses this year. We are going to have bounce houses appropriate for the little ones, the kindergartners, all the way up to competitive obstacle courses for the middle schoolers. So we're going to have a lot of different opportunities for them to interact. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have temporary tattoos. We're going to have a 360 photograph opportunity. So there's so much going on, and it has built from our original Family Fun Night, where it was just the PTOs coming with yard games, to where now we are sponsoring bounce houses and face painting and, as I said, tattoos, and we have the dunk tank, and we have so many opportunities, and it's all free. That is one of the core principles of this event, is that everybody is welcome, everybody can afford it, nobody is charging, nobody can fundraise, because most of the organizations that come, like Parks and Rec and the library and the police department, just naming a few, they're all capable of fundraising. And so we don't have fundraising there. It is simply a time for us community to come together and enjoy each other and really just have a good time.
Having a good time indeed. I mean, you said one of my favorite things, you said the face painting. I am a person that's like, I will paint my face for any event, anything that's fun. If you got it there, it's a wonderful thing. And I just love the fact that you said that this is a free event and it brings everybody together. Things like this, you don't have to come with a certain price amount. There's no difference in saying, oh, I got this type of package and this person got, it's no difference. Everybody is coming together, enjoy all the same things for free. And it's less about just the money aspect, more about the community. And that goes to my next question. How does an event like this, how have you seen it strengthen the connection between the West Bloomfield school, schools, families, and then just overall the broader community?
That's a great question. I have had so many people come up to me and say that this has been part of their school experience from day one, because it's been 15 years, and they don't know an experience without it. And I just love that, because their experience then with the West Bloomfield School District has always included this amazing event that brings everybody together, that has a celebration to it. And we've really done a lot to build it out. We've had bands come in, we have had 95.5 come in, and now we're really leaning into the students, and they're being involved in helping run the program. So this year we're going to have the student DJs from the high school running our music. We have different students. The Honors Society does volunteer work so they can go and man the bounce houses to make sure all the students are safe there. We have different clubs that come that represent their clubs. It's kind of a recruitment opportunity for them. We have the PTOs do come, but also to recruit and help support their particular organizations. We have the robotics teams there. So we have a bunch of opportunities for student clubs to represent themselves, to help, maybe raise memberships and awareness, though also for the parents with kids in elementary and middle school to understand all the different opportunities they have when they do come to the high school. So there's so much more enrichment and involvement with the students in the program now.
I love that. I love how it's just blending every generation. Like you said, before it started off with those in the PTO who were over it, just getting everything together, getting the foundation laid. And now that it has gone on for 15 years, you have students who are part of it, and they're able to get experience and being out, because a lot, this generation is kind of new, is different. People are on iPads, people aren't talking as much. But now this is something that forces them to get out, talk to each other, connect with each other. And it's amazing to see that, especially even younger ones in the middle school seeing that, hey, I can be a part of this. Hey, these older kids are doing this and they're getting inspired. So I got a few more questions for you. And after 15 years, what do you think is that keeps families coming back year after year to the Family Fun Night?
It's a bit of a nostalgia. This Family Fun Night is a bit of a throwback to Americana. Back in the old days when they used to have the fairs at the school grounds. And so it's a little bit of that opportunity to have a family event out and in the school district, in the school grounds, having kind of that fair atmosphere with the bounce houses and the different games. It really does have that piece of Americana, to your point, that we're kind of missing right now with the technology world that we live in. So it's a nice time to just decompress, put down your phones, actually interact face-to-face with other people in your community, and get back to that core opportunity of being united within our Greater West Bloomfield area.
I love that, you said everybody, just the coming out and everybody's just, they're together. And that piece of Americana, it reminds me of in my old neighborhood, we used to have block parties. It's the same thing, everybody comes out right before school starts or sometime during the summer. We block off the street, and now all the neighbors can come out and see each other. All the neighbors that may have seen each other in passing and, throughout the day or throughout the week, but now they can come together and enjoy each other. And, things like that strengthens the community. It strengthens, you know, the neighborhood. You know, we look out for each other. You know, we look out for each other and help each other any type of way. And I truly believe that's what the Family Fun Night has been doing, helping those, you know, in the community, seeing faces, you know, getting to know people, getting the time to relax, and just sit next to somebody you never met before, you know, and talk. You know, because West Bloomfield is very diverse, and so it's so beautiful that we can have this night like this for people to come out, you know, and just enjoy each other's company. And my last question for you is, for a family that has never attended Family Fun Night before, what would you say they absolutely don't want to miss this year?
Oh, that's a great question. I would have to say just the excitement. You don't want to miss out on this. That it's electric. And to your point about the diversity, it's such a great visual when you're there to see in one spot the immense diversity that we at West Bloomfield School District, we celebrate that. People move here specifically I moved here 20 years ago from LA. I picked West Bloomfield specifically for the diversity. And that's something, that energy and community and the diversity, it's so beautiful to experience in one place, and everybody's having fun. It's a positive energy. You want to come out. There's so much going on. There's so much activities for everybody involved. And I do want to say that if the elementary students and middle schoolers wear their spirit gear, they get into the football game for free. So not only is Family Fun Night free, it's also free for those students if they're wearing their spirit gear. And I do want to tease out something everybody does not want to miss is I'm kind of teasing this year's, I can't show it because I'll get in trouble, but I'm teasing a little bit of this year's t-shirt. They are becoming collectibles. We've been doing it for the entire time. I have all 15 t-shirts. So if you want to get one of these super cool t-shirts, you got to show up to the event.
Got to show up to the event. I might show up myself just to get a t-shirt. I'm always a fan for, you know, t-shirts. If they're passing them out, I'm like, hey, let me take one, you know, because it's so beautiful.
Not everybody gets one. I want to clarify that.
Oh, okay, yeah. But it's such a wonderful thing, Julie, that, you know, this has been going on for 15 years, and this has been such an effect in the community. And like you said, you know, and I've experienced myself too, the diversity and being in a diverse community such as West Bloomfield, and all, you know, accumulated at the high school, you know, a place where, you know, it's a lot of legacy, a lot of things there. And this is another thing that has been a part of the legacy of the high school. And it's just so wonderful that it brings together everybody in the community and everybody gets to enjoy each other. So this is all, you know, wonderful, great things. Julie, thank you so much for joining me today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you September 18th at Family Fun Night.
That's right. Once again, September 18th is Family Fun Night. And it's a great way to kick off the school year, just bringing families together, celebrating community heroes, and showing plenty of West Bloomfield pride. We're going to take a quick break, but we're going to get right back to it right here on the Splash Live.
Before the next big rain event, prepare yourself and your home for flooding. Get flood smart by learning where flooding may happen in your community. Protect your loved ones by making a disaster plan for your household and pets. Protect your valuables by storing them off the floor in your basement. Clear your storm drains and catch basins so water on the street can enter the stormwater system. Let's be prepared together.
I have no idea.
Maybe? I do worry about it sometimes.
More than 2 in 5 people have prediabetes.
How do I know if I'm at risk?
Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test. People with prediabetes can significantly reduce their risk of getting type 2 diabetes by making modest lifestyle changes.
I'm taking control of my health.
Find a diabetes prevention program near you at michigan.gov/diabetes.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, only on Civic Center TV, bringing you all the greatest news and happenings in Greater West Bloomfield. A new school year is bringing a new era to the West Bloomfield School District. As students return to the classroom for the 2026-2027 school year, the district is celebrating the completion of one major school project while preparing to break ground on another. From a brand new Chico Elementary to the upcoming Doherty Elementary project, there's a lot of change happening across West Bloomfield schools. And here to tell us more about this is Dr. Danya Bazzi, Superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District. Dr. Bazzi, welcome to the show.
For having me.
Always, always. So as you welcome students and families back for the 2026-2027 school year, what is your overall message to the West Bloomfield community as we begin what feels like a very, very new chapter?
You know, just a lot of things to be excited about, a lot of momentum in West Bloomfield. Even over the summer, you've seen our students excel outside of the classroom in a lot of their extracurricular activities and academics that they continue into the summer months. As you mentioned, we're opening a new school and beginning the construction of another one in Doherty Elementary. We're continuing to strengthen academic opportunities that are at all levels of our system, elementary, middle, and high school, that you'll see, you know, a first-year implementation this year. But I think what's most, you know, what we're really, the overall message is that we're staying true to the strategic plan that was created by the community in 2022, using that as our guiding map, and then making sure that we're routing ourselves along the strategic plan, making sure that every student is challenged, supported, and prepared for what comes next. So this year our theme is we're charting new waters, but we certainly know where we're heading.
I love that, you know, charting new waters. That's really great, because that really is cumulative of what everything is happening. You know, Chico opening and then Doherty Elementary moving into the groundbreaking phase. So, you know, tell me, what does that mean to see those plans? Like you said, some are in phase one, some are already finished. You already been through the whole process. What does that mean to see these plans become a reality?
You know, it's incredibly rewarding because these projects are years in the making. You know, we started these discussions in 2022, and here we are in 2026. So you see plans, drawings, you have discussions with curricular leaders, facility leaders, teachers, art teachers, music teachers, and you really all come together to build a building that will serve, you know, our children for generations to come. You know, and we don't lose sight of the fact that none of this would be possible without our community and the people that helped us with the May 2023 bond. So we don't just see these as construction projects. They're investments in our students, they're investments in our educators, and investments in the future of West Bloomfield.
I love that. And just, you know, like you said, making sure that you're investing in the future. This is, you know, these are, you know, great buildings and great things that are happening that, you know, these are, you know, like buildings that have been around, you know, taking care of students and everything for years. And now this is going to be a new place, a new, you know, school that will be, you know, excellent for, like you said, for years to come. And I want to talk a little bit about, you know, Chico in particular. They're celebrating a ribbon cutting on September 16th. And what are some of the features at this new building that you believe that will make the biggest difference for students and staff?
You know, I think what is most exciting about Chico is how the building was built intentionally around how children learn today. That there's flexible learning environments, giving teachers more options for whole group and small group instruction, for collaborative learning. And I have to say, I'm excited about the slide, which is right in the center of the building. But, you know, being serious, I mean, the slide is great, and kids need to feel happy when they come into a school. They need to feel that it is a space that was intentionally designed for them. Our teachers obviously were involved with us through the design phase of this, and we really took a look at, from the instructional lens, from a facilities and efficiency sense, but basically the main goal was how could we design a building that is best utilized for students and staff, you know, not only for the year 2026, but flexible enough that in 50 years that the space will still work for learners, because students definitely learn different than I learned back in elementary school, and in 30 years it's going to be different as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's such a good point, and that leads me to my, next question. You talked about, a little bit about the slide, but really, what you're saying is about, new and modern learning environments for, new generation of kids. And when you walk through, not just Chico but Doherty, what are you seeing, or even the plans for Doherty? What do you see that reflects how education has changed, and where do you believe that this is headed?
I think education has changed in that your educational institution and your school and your communities are really the hub of the community. You really don't think of West Bloomfield Township without thinking of West Bloomfield School District. I think everyone's priority as a community is best servicing our students and making sure that our children have the best education possible. When you look at Chico, what's special about it, it was designed almost like a children's museum. So what you're gonna see is learning on every square inch of space and walls within the building. It's kind of built almost like a children's museum, and all of that content that's in the building is specifically aligned to Michigan content standards, as well as Common Core state standards in terms of, social studies and that Michigan history and the rich history that Michigan has. Our students will be able to live that every day as they walk through the building.
I love that. Like you said, it's like a museum. I can't wait to see it and see how everything looks on the inside. I've passed it so many times, the new building, and it looks amazing. I'm really surprised. I'm like, oh wait, this is elementary school. This is like I'm like, I wish I could, start over and go there, because it's such a nice place. And I think that's so important that every level, through the hallways, how they walk in, the whole atmosphere, the whole vibe of the school is something with, making sure these elementary school students are, just surrounded with an environment where they can grow and learn. And with so much happening at the elementary level, how do you balance the excitement surrounding the new construction and new buildings with like day-to-day priorities of academics and student well-being, and also supporting our teachers?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question, because there is a lot of construction going on, and even with like Chico is really two buildings, right? There's a preschool as well as the elementary school, so that our south side has dedicated preschool. But in terms of the academics, it's never either or. We do both. We do all of it, and sometimes that means late nights and weekend work for our staff and administrators, but we truly believe that our students are worth that investment. It also takes a great team. We have people like Scott Long and our learning services team who do a great job with keeping teaching and learning at the center of our work. If you look at our finances, you can see a strong investment in the academics. And then we have leaders. We have Jamie Stoudemire and Ted Stinson who handle our facilities and operations, and they make sure that work is done. Again, what is special is you have groups of people who work together. Facilities and operations are working with teaching and learning to make sure that the spaces that we're constructing and designing is with a teaching and learning lens. So my responsibility is to make sure all those pieces remain connected to the same strategic plan that we mentioned earlier. And it's never either or. We have to focus, on all of those things.
So right now on the Splash Live, I am talking to Dr. Danya Bazzi, Superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District, just talking about the exciting things happening for the upcoming 2026-2027 school year. So Dr. Bazzi, you said things about strategizing as far as like with education and the strategic plans that you guys have put together, to make and to ensure a great and successful school year this year and just for years to come. The new Chico Elementary School will also include an early childhood center. Now, how does that incorporating that early childhood education into the campus fit into the district's broader vision for supporting students and families?
Yeah. So again, this is something we're really excited about, because historically preschool has been a little bit of get in where you fit in. Like you have an empty classrooms in elementaries, we'll put in preschools. And basically the space was really intentionally designed for our littlest learners to have a beautiful and educationally focused space for our preschool students. So another thing is it creates a seamless education as students attend Chico. though at the preschool center, a lot of those students will then continue into Chico and have a really sustained amount of time there. So this is exactly what you get from strategic planning, that long-term visioning to say, we're going to invest in a dedicated preschool space so that families have that continuity and accessibility, because the geographic makeup of West Bloomfield makes it hard to come all the way from the south side of the district to the north side for preschool. So we're very excited about the West Bloomfield Preschool Academy opening at that site this school year.
I love that, and like you said, just making sure that this is something that is intentional, and that's what I'm hearing. It's a lot of intention. It's a lot of strategic things that are, going into the education on every level, every age. It's not just, oh, it's a room, let's just use this for preschool. It's like designated, this is early childhood education, and that support is going to make so much great impact, throughout the years to come for this school district. And I got a couple more questions for you. When you look in 5 to 10 to even 15 years down the road, what do you hope these investments in these facilities and programs will mean for future generations of West Bloomfield students?
I think our hope is that students have the skills and the experiences that they need to be successful for their path. Everyone's path is going to be a little bit different. We often say in West Bloomfield that we're creating a systems of school rather than one school system, because we know that education is not one size fits all. You have students who are going to want to go into the trades. You're going to have students who want to go onto the armed forces. You're going to have students who want to go to a 2-year institution or a 4-year institution. To me, all of these experiences mean, what it is to be a Laker, right? We know that the decisions we make today have impact on future decisions. And so that's why it's really important that we invest in our educators, we invest in safe and modern environments, that we have strong academic pathways for our students. I think if we do these things right, the investments will continue to serve our students long after we're gone. But the work will continue because of the systems and processes that we've put in place.
I love that, and like you said, it's not only just the students, taking care of them and making sure that even after, once they leave high school, once they go to college and then come back, a lot of them may return back to West Bloomfield, but knowing that what they got through, elementary and, early childhood, elementary, middle school, all the way to high school and beyond, that they can come back and invest back in the community. And that's what it is, just a future investment in, the new doctors and lawyers and mechanics and all these different parts that make, West Bloomfield, amazing and as great as it is. And my last question for you is, if you can give one message to the students, parents, teachers, and staff as they begin this new school year, what would you want them to know about the direction of the district?
I think the direction this year is really a strong academic focus. This year is the first year that we're implementing advanced pathways at West Bloomfield Middle School, which is a continuation of the magnet program that people are aware of. We continue to push students into level up math so that they're on track to hit calculus by their senior year. We continue to expand our AP advanced placement courses at West Bloomfield High School. And we also are looking at, always providing supports and interventions to students. Again, for us, what I want to take away is that everything we do is tied to academics. Yes. Every construction project, every initiative ties back to ensuring that our students are academically prepared for when they leave the walls at West Bloomfield and are successful. So at the same time, we know academic excellence matters, and that's priority number one. But at the same time, it's not an either or. As I say, it's both. It's really important that our students and families feel connected and valued. And our strategic plan highlights both of those areas, that we want our community to feel supported, connected, but there will always be the strong academic focus tied to all that we do.
I love that. You know, putting the students, putting the people first, and putting education first. So many amazing things are happening with this, you know, in this school year. I'm excited to see, you know, all the things to come for every school at every level with openings of new schools and all these things. It's going to be so beautiful and so great. And, you know, everybody, teachers, parents, students, they're in for a treat for the 2026-2027 school year. Dr. Bazzi, thank you so much for joining me today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you. We hope to see everyone at the ribbon cutting 9/16 at 6:30 p.m. at Chico.
Absolutely. And there's, you know, even though school is coming, a lot of people don't want to hear it, but school is right around the corner for a lot. There are so many exciting and amazing things happening in Greater West Bloomfield. And, you know, as students enter into school, no matter what level that they're at, is something that is always like strategically planned and provided for them, just making sure that every child in West Bloomfield has a great school year and has a great education. For many older adults, a meal can mean much more than just food. It can also mean connection, compassion, and knowing that someone is checking in. The National Council of Jewish Women of Michigan is working to make sure that support continues for generations to come through a new $500,000 perpetuity fund campaign for its Kosher Meals on Wheels program. Here's a look at the impact of this program is having on seniors across Metro Detroit.
Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, glad to have you with us. We did a piece on the Meals on Wheels program a few months ago for the Splash Live, learning more about what this is providing within Greater West Bloomfield. Susan, I'm going to start with you. The National Council Jewish Women for Michigan has supported older adults through Kosher Meals on Wheels for more than 50 years. Why was now the right time to launch a $500,000 perpetuity campaign?
Well, there's several reasons. One, as we all know, the rising cost of meals, of grocery shopping and so forth. And Epic Kosher, who prepares the meals, has been very generous in keeping the price as low as it can go. But costs continue to rise, and we had some uncertainty about our federal funding for the program. That's our largest funder for the program is through Ageways Nonprofit Services, and it's our federal funding. So if something happens where we don't have that money, that's going to be a major issue for the program. We write grants. Our participants make donations if they can. Many are not even giving anything at this point. So we want to just make sure that this program has the money to go forward with it for years to come. And so that's why we started this program, this fund.
Absolutely. This is a program we want to see stick around because it's doing so much good for so many people throughout Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. Margot, for viewers who may not be too familiar with the program, what makes Kosher Meals on Wheels about much more than just delivering a hot meal?
Well, the drivers are all volunteers who are friendly, and they develop a relationship with the people that they deliver the meals to. And also the drivers check on the people as well. And Meals on Wheels from the National Council of Jewish Women is the only kosher Meals on Wheels program in the area.
That's right. So it's being the main line of support for a lot of these people to give them the food that they need. Now, Susan, the partnership with Jewish Family Service creates an added layer of care. How does that collaboration help protect the health and the well-being of the participants?
Well, since the start of the program in 1973, we had a partnership with them. So they do the intake of the participant to see if they qualify for Meals on Wheels. But then as they're doing that, they're seeing, are there other needs? These are people who live in their own home. They're trying to remain independent in their home, but they may have other needs. So they also provide care management services for the participants. And it may start out only with Meals on Wheels. It may start out, they're in the hospital, they come home, they need it for a short term, but it turns into something longer. And their care managers help to make sure and work with the families to ensure that they are safe in their homes. And as Margot said, our volunteers are the ears and eyes, really, of the family. If they see something, they let us know that there's a concern.
That's right. And I want to go off on what you just said, Susan, and throw it over to Margot, because volunteers are definitely a huge part in why a program like this is as successful as it is. Margot, can you talk about the unique role that volunteers play as part of the community safety net?
Absolutely. If the driver thinks there's a problem with someone that they see on a regular basis, they immediately call the Kosher Meals on Wheels coordinator. And then if they think it's necessary, they'll call the police for a wellness check. Then there's someone who's checking on the person on a regular basis. And often many of these many times their family members do not live in state or they don't live near them. So the Kosher Meals on Wheels driver and volunteer sees them on a regular basis. And if they think there's something wrong, then they can contact the family first they contact the coordinator, and then they'll contact the coordinator can contact the families.
All the more reason why a program like this needs to stick around and why we need to support it. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Margot Stocker and Susan Gertner with the National Council of Jewish Women for Michigan, talking about the brand new $500,000 per perpetuity fund campaign that is being initiated to secure the future of its long-running Kosher Meals on Wheels program. Now, Susan, annual funding Susan, annual funding has become increasingly challenging. What would the perpetuity fund change for the long-term stability of this program?
Well, the cost of the meals is close to $300,000. Then there's many other costs. There's supplies, there's staffing, insurance, and everything. So it's a very expensive program. Kosher meals, kosher food is expensive. So having the fund will help us if we have a deficit in a year. Because maybe we didn't get enough grants, or maybe we had less donations. We also have family name funds that help us. But if we don't have it, then there's a deficit, and we use whatever we can. But having this fund will help us that if we do have a deficit in a particular year, it will supplement it, and it will just continue, each year. So the fund is really an essential, especially right now with the cost of everything, essential way to ensure the future of this program.
It's a safety net. It's there to help to keep everything in place and to make sure that there's enough gas to keep this program running if there is a year where maybe things aren't happening as much as you would like them to. So that's absolutely very important. And Margot, the campaign has already received strong early support through the Applebaum Fund Challenge Grant. How important is that early momentum in inspiring additional donors?
Well, it was a grant, and we received 5 donors who each gave $5,000. It was a grant match, excuse me. We received 5 donors who gave $5,000, and then the Apple Fund matched it. We will continue to reach out to more donors since we reached our match.
That's great, and it's amazing that we're seeing all of this early support coming in early and helping everybody within Greater West Bloomfield. And Margot, keeping it with you, for residents of Greater West Bloomfield who want to make a difference, what are the most meaningful ways they can support this campaign beyond financial donations?
They could be a driver or a volunteer for Kosher Meals on Wheels. That would be a really big deal. And of course, be a donor. I mean, that's always a good thing.
That's right. So many ways you can help out and benefit this incredible program that we want to see sticking around. I got a couple more questions for you guys before we wrap things up, and this question's for both of you. What message would you like to share with families who may be hesitant to ask for help, even when a loved one is homebound and could benefit from this service? Susan, we'll start with you.
So, many people see Meals on Wheels as, it's for someone who is low income and in need, but no. What we're doing with this program is helping people to remain independent in their own home. I kind of think of it as the kosher Uber Eats. It's a home delivery program. If you can't get out to do grocery shopping, you can't cook, or, it's a little difficult at this point, to receive a delicious dinner is very helpful, and it helps people with their health and the feeling of independence that they don't need to move into a senior housing. So it's a great program for anyone of any financial need. If you need it temporarily, like I said before, you're coming home from the hospital, or if a family member is caring for you, but they're going out of town, we can help you even temporarily or on an ongoing basis.
Margot, same question.
I'm going to just reiterate what Susan said. What she said was exactly what I was going to say. It's a big help, and it's significantly less money than having Uber or any of the other food delivered, and so it's home cooked meals. So I think that's a big deal.
That's right. That's how you know you're getting something good to eat with this program. It's the food that you're getting, and it's just making you feel warm inside, and it's making you know that you have everything that you need. Susan, last question before we wrap things up. Looking ahead, what would success look like once the $500,000 goal is reached, and what legacy do you hope this campaign leaves for future generations of older adults?
So for National Council of Jewish Women Michigan, we were established in 1891, and volunteers over all these years have found a need in the community and then developed a project or a program to meet that need. And that's what they did with Kosher Meals on Wheels in 1973. Having this fund will help us to make sure that we're going to continue providing and meeting this essential need in our community for years to come, and ensuring that there's funding for it. We're looking at individuals, we're looking at businesses, anyone you know. I'm happy to talk to anyone. So thank you. We're caring about our community members, and that's what NCJW Michigan is about.
That's absolutely right. So we want to see as many people helping out with this campaign as we possibly can. Margot, Susan, thank you both so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you for having us.
From a warm meal to a friendly face at the door, programs like this are helping seniors age with dignity and stay connected to the community. For veterans and their families, finding the right resources can sometimes mean navigating multiple agencies and services. Oakland County is working to make that process easier by bringing those resources together under one roof. At its Veteran Resources Fairs, veterans can connect with organizations offering support ranging from healthcare and employment to housing, benefits, and so much more. Here's a look at how Oakland County is helping veterans get connected to the services they've earned.
Garth, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Always love talking about stuff like this. Great ways for everybody in the community to stop by to get these resources. For someone who has never attended one of these fairs before, what can they expect when they walk through the doors of an Oakland County Veterans Resource Fair?
Yeah, so we have 3 time slots assigned, so either 9 a.m., 10 a.m., or 11 a.m. As you indicated earlier, the resource fair goes from 9 a.m. to noon. They come in, and if they have registered, they are entitled to a Meyer voucher of $100, which is an incentive to try to get them to actually come in and attend the resource fair, and it also provides them with some food assistance, obviously. And they can come to the Oakland County Veteran Services table and receive that Meyer voucher, and then they can go around and connect with all the resources that are going to be at that resource fair.
That's right, making sure that everything is available for these veterans so that they can feel comfortable and that they have everything that they need for the rest of their life. And these fairs have grown quite a bit over the last few years. How have you seen this vision in these fairs evolve over the last several years, would you say?
Yeah, at the first, they actually started out just as a food assistance where we actually gave out food boxes, and that was it. Basically, they came in, we gave them a food box, and we didn't have the other resources available. Then we said, let's kind of expand these, make sure that veterans are connecting to all the benefits that they're entitled to. And then we got some grant money from the state of Michigan. We were able to purchase the Meyer vouchers to use that as an incentive. And really, that has really helped us expand. We started out, we would get 100, 200. Now we get close to 500 veterans and dependents that attend each resource fair.
Wow, quite a big jump. And as you said, lots of different organizations are being represented at these events for so many different purposes. How do you determine which resources veterans need the most and which partners should be involved with this resource fair?
Yeah, first and foremost, we want to make sure that everything that they're providing to veterans or their dependents is free of charge. So nobody can charge anything at these resource fairs. We also screen them to make sure that they're not taking advantage of veterans, trying to create a list that they will then call later to try and sell them something or anything of that nature. Then we also try to make sure that we're trying to give them resources that will help them financially in healthcare. And also one of the things that we're finding is that coming to these resource fairs is kind of a social connection for a lot of them. I mean, it gets them out of the house, it gets them talking to other people, which is a big advantage. But you know, again, we want to make sure that their healthcare needs, if they need assistance with utilities, we have some resources there. We provide them with, there's some DTE provides free LED light bulbs at these events. Our health department is there providing immunizations at these events. So, and those are all provided free of charge, of course.
Healthcare, finance, food services, these fairs have it all. And with so many resources that are available, let me ask you this, Garth, what are some of the resources available at these fairs that maybe veterans might not even realize that they qualify for or might have difficulty finding on their own?
Yeah, the first and foremost is our office is there, so we obviously can assist them in filing for any benefits that they're entitled to from the VA. So a lot of times veterans think, oh, I've got to do this on my own. The process is very complicated. There's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of forms to fill out. So we can connect with them. We can actually go through that process with them and make it as simple as possible and make sure that they're connected to all those veterans benefits that they're entitled to. There's also some benefits for our veterans who are hard of hearing. CapTel is there. They provide free captioned phones so that they can actually communicate. It provides, you know, the caption there so they can read what's being said, and you know, that's kind of a nice little benefit for them, again, if they're having trouble communicating and staying in touch with others. There's also Thaw is usually there, which provides it's the heat and warmth fund. They can provide utility assistance if they're struggling to pay their utility bills. Michigan Works is there to assist them if they're looking for employment. MSU Extension is there with nutrition information. Oakland County Parks is there with parks information. There's a lot of different resources that that veterans can connect to that they may not be aware of. For example, Oakland County Parks, veterans are entitled to entry into any Oakland County Park free of charge.
That's amazing. So many incredible resources available at these fairs. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Garth Wooten, the Oakland County Veterans Services Divisional Manager, talking to us about the Veterans Resource Fair that's going to be coming up in Oakland County on August 28th from 9 a.m. to noon. Now, as you were saying, Garth, lots of different resources available. When it comes to these veterans, a lot of them are older. It's a lot of information that's being thrown at them. It can get overwhelming. And I think you just touched on this a little bit, but how important is it to have benefits counselors available in person to sit down with veterans and to help them navigate the claims process?
Yeah, as you indicated, a lot of our clientele are older, and the technology is a challenge. I mean, I'm you know, at that age where I sometimes struggle with technology and trying to do everything online. So we actually meet face-to-face with veterans, and we complete the forms for them to make the process as simple as possible. Again, if you're trying to do this stuff on your own, it's a real challenge, and we're advocates for you. So we're going to make sure that you get what you're entitled to. We're going to complete the forms that are necessary. We're going to submit them to the appropriate place. We're going to do all the follow-up necessary, including an appeal if it gets to that stage. So again, we try to make the process as simple as possible, and we value that face-to-face connection. It's so much better and a much better way to connect and make sure that people understand what's going on, rather than trying to do something via computer or over the phone. That face-to-face interview is crucial, we feel.
I completely agree, and it's amazing that you guys are creating this warm and inviting environment, but you're also creating one that these veterans know that they can trust and that they know that they are in really, really good hands. And I'm curious, how have you seen the fairs, or how have you seen the veterans grow and change as a result of these fairs and stopping by and learning about these resources firsthand?
Yeah, I think it's like, as I indicated earlier, we've really expanded the number of veterans that have been able to attend these fairs. It's beneficial from them actually connecting to these benefits, and then also I think as an opportunity for them to get out, socialize. Veterans, you know, when they get together, they have that connection. They all served, so for them, you know, sometimes they're able to see people that they haven't seen in a while, or from that social aspect, it's also an important aspect. Also, the food assistance that we provide through the Meyer vouchers has been very beneficial. As you know, and anybody knows, food prices over the last couple of years have gone up pretty dramatically, and for veterans or dependents who are maybe on a fixed income, that's created challenges. So the Meyer vouchers are that little extra help, hopefully, that, you know, gets them to be able to have a nutritious, you know, healthy food sources available to them.
Yeah, these food prices are no joke, and that applies to everybody. So it's really, really great that you have these vouchers available to make sure that these veterans get what they need. A few more questions, Garth, before we wrap things up. Are there particular needs that you're seeing more frequently among Oakland County veterans today than you were seeing maybe several years ago?
Well, the food assistance obviously is one that I just touched on. The assistance, I think, with the claims processing, again, it's the complexity of trying to do it on their own, and being able to, again, sit with them and go over those benefits with them. A lot more veterans are becoming aware of the possibility of, you know, that they may have a service-connected disability. The VA has expanded a lot of the presumptive conditions for those veterans that were exposed to Agent Orange, and also they expanded them to include burn pit exposure for those that served in Iraq or Afghanistan, which has greatly expanded the number of veterans that may be eligible under it. And it was some legislation under what's called the PACT Act, which was probably the biggest expansion of veterans benefits, at least in the 29 years that I've been working with veterans.
Wow, a lot has changed in that time. Glad that we're seeing these events continuing to grow and affecting more and more people every single year. Garth, for a veteran or a family member watching this who may be hesitant to ask for help, what would you say to encourage them to attend the upcoming fair and take advantage of the resources that are available?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say make sure they pre-register, because that is a requirement. But what I would say is that, you know, you've earned these benefits. It's not a handout. This is something that you've earned through your service to your country. There's no reason to be hesitant to apply or to feel that I'm taking benefits away from another veteran or another individual. That's not how the system works. Again, you've earned these benefits. Please take advantage of them, and please do it before you get in a crisis situation, because one of the most difficult things for us is when we see somebody that could have applied for a benefit years ago and would have been in a much better situation that then comes in once they get in that crisis where they're not able to pay for food, or they're having serious medical issues that they haven't been able to get help for. So again, make sure you apply and do it before you get in that crisis situation.
That's right. The time to act is now. Make sure that you are set up very, very well for the future. Garth, last question before we wrap things up. You just talked about pre-registration. Where can people go to pre-register for this event and to maybe gain a little bit more information about this resource fair?
Yeah, our website is probably the best way to get there, www.oakgov.com/veterans.
That's the place to go, and that is the place to gain all of this information and to know what to expect with this upcoming Veterans Resource Fair. Garth, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, that's a wrap for today's show. For the stories that matter and the people who make this community special, stay connected with us on civiccentertv.com and all across our social media platforms. A big thank you to our crew behind the scenes making it all happen, and thank you for tuning in and being part of the journey. Live, local, social, this is a Splash Live, only on Civic Center TV.